Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Plug and Play podcast. My name is Alexis, and we got my two co-hosts here today. Cameron, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Nice. Yeah, I'm doing good. Just had a busy weekend, so ready to get this podcast started. And Henry, what's up? How you doing?
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Nice. Like that. So slow news week, but we got some interesting stuff in our impressions. And yeah, let's get started with this. We got a couple updates though from the last episode. So near the end of the show, we were talking about Apex Legends and how they had this whole scandal with the battle pass, and how starting with the next season that you would have to pay $20 to get all the items from both battle passes. And now they put out an update, which is surprising from EA and Respawn, which is like they don't really do this. They've had instances in the past where like I feel like worse stuff has happened with like cheaters or like tournament misconduct, and they said nothing. So I mean, it's cool with this because I mean the battle pass affects everybody and all the players. So for this, starting with the next season, now you can buy the battle passes with the coins. So if you don't know, on each battle pass you get coins, and then once you earn enough coins, you can buy the next one. So it's basically only like a one-time purchase, and you'll be good for all the seasons as long as you play the game enough. You have to play a lot, so to get all the items and the coins, of course. So with the next season, you'll also get enough coins to purchase the both battle passes. So it's gonna be separate battle passes with 60 levels each, and yeah, and they're also keeping the same quality of items that they promised with the battle passes that you would have to buy with money. So it's kind of confusing, but like they put out a statement, they put out a little chart graph with everything that is included with both battle passes, and it still costs 950 coins as usual, but also the ultimate battle pass, which is like the premium version, it's going to cost 1300 Apex coins. So, and you also be able to earn that back, so it's all good as long as you purchase the battle pass. So yeah, this is a good change, honestly. I haven't bought a battle pass for Apex in a while, because I usually play on and off, and I don't want to waste my coins for that. And I wasted all my coins for the Final Fantasy collab, so I'm all out. And I didn't really get that many good items from that collab, so I'm like low on coins. So if I would have to buy the battle pass again, I have to spend like $10. And I'm on and off with the game, honestly, to be honest. So I usually just play with my friend. He wants to play like competitive, and competitive games are really fun, honestly. So I don't know if you guys are into competitive games. I would recommend Apex to get started with, because near the end, man, it gets chaotic. Like it's like very like, oh my god, it's kind of weird to explain it, but like everything's clumped up together, and there's like 6 teams at the end, and like you have to strategize and understand like when to fight and all that. But that's like a whole nother topic. So yeah, this is surprising from EA and Respawn, because they've been greedy and they haven't communicated a lot in the past, but with this change, they promised to fix the cheaters, matchmaking, and all that stuff as well in the statement. So I don't know if you wanna hand it off to any of you guys. I do want to ask you guys if you would play Apex in the future. I want to hand it off to Henry, because I feel like Henry, you're more into like multiplayer games, because I remember you played Concord last week, or last episode. So yeah, let me drop it off to you, and if you would play Apex in the future.
I mean, I'll just go ahead and say I'm not a huge multiplayer guy. I played
Yeah.
Concord because it's a huge topic right now, and it was
Yeah.
free, obviously.
Yeah,
The beta.
Apex is free.
So, yeah, correct. Yeah, and I have played Apex before, and I do play with like a friend who does really enjoy Apex, and that's typically when I get on, is whenever he wants to. So yeah, I mean, play Apex if you want. It's free. So it's and it is a solid game. I mean, it's Respawn, and Respawn is obviously known for making great first-person shooters. And I think Apex is fun. I do think it's a little bit more hardcore. I think like if you want a more like hardcore competitive shooter that is a battle royale game, I think Apex is kind of where you go. And the problem with that is that I suck at video games, so that makes it very difficult for me to compete in a game like that. So like whenever I play Apex, it's mostly most of the game I'm running around picking up stuff, and then if I end up getting to the end of the game like you're talking about, Alexis,
Yeah.
I just get absolutely massacred by like
Oh man.
some team who's like ridiculously higher level than me and like has skins that I've never even seen or heard of, and I'm just like, okay, it was never meant to be. So there's never really a chance of me winning Apex, and like I guess like the ranking system just considers me like a sacrificial lamb for other players to have fun. I guess that's kind of how bad I am. But like I still would recommend Apex Legends in terms of fun. Like, it is a well-designed game, and you still can definitely have fun with it if you put in the time. But in regards to this battle pass, I do think you mentioned it's odd to see them to make a statement on this, and I agree it is odd. But it's not very odd when you consider it is affecting their money. And that is what they care about the very most. And I think people were mad about this, and I don't know how big of a hit they would have taken necessarily. I feel like, and we're probably going to get into this later in the episode, but gamers love to say they're mad about things, and then it doesn't really matter. They still spend money anyway. So like, I don't know how much of a hit they would have taken from this, but it seems like this was probably the biggest pushback I've seen as like a third-party observer from Apex Legends and probably ever to this game. Like, I heard about this, and I learned that a lot of the community isn't very happy for various reasons, and I think EA did some tallying and said, well, maybe it's probably best if we change this around. And it is worth noting this is not a complete 180, but I don't hate the changes that they've made. And I think the premium or using in-game currency to buy the battle passes is definitely consumer friendly. Adding that back is a great move. I don't hate. They did say it is still split up into two battle passes, right? That is correct.
Yeah, it's two of them, and I think they're gonna split like half the season, so you're gonna have to buy it twice. But you get the coins back.
Okay. You still have to buy it twice, so it is still more money. But I do like that. I honestly didn't mind the idea of having a split battle pass because I don't like having to be committed to a game for that long. And really, with a split battle pass, you have the ability to say, I'm only going to be committed to this game for half the time. Instead of a whole season, you only have to be committed for half a season. You can choose to opt into that second battle pass as well. Obviously, they're going to put rewards in there to try to entice you to do both, but you do have the option of opting out and still getting the max rewards from a tier or a battle pass, which is, I think, very nice. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that they made some changes. Obviously, not all of them were reneged, but I'm happy to see that they listened and that Apex's players are hopefully a little bit happier.
Yeah, hopefully, because I think you are right that this was the most angriest everybody has been, because when they released the trailer for like the next season, man, they had like a lot of dislikes on YouTube and stuff. So yeah, and also one more thing, I appreciate you being the sacrificial lamb in these Apex games because I like killing the bad players.
Oh, happy to do it, man.
Appreciate
Always
it.
happy.
And man, when them good ass players pull up, man, it gets so demotivating because like they're so much better at it, and just like every time, like you could tell when you die by them because they have like these try hard emblems and stuff like that, where
oh yeah, it's very obvious.
Yeah, it's very
obvious when you're outclassed.
It's like, Jesus, like this guy has 1,000 wins this season, and I barely have I don't even have 1,000 wins in my whole playtime of Apex. So
yeah,
it's insane. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. You want to add anything to this, Cam? I know you're not into multiplayer like that, but I'm sure you're not a fan of battle passes in general, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm very similar to Henry, where it's like this is very much like a passive story for me. I don't think it's going to really affect anything I'm doing because I'm probably not going to play this game anytime soon. But I think in general, kind of what we were talking about last episode, because this did come up last episode, is like I think it's definitely like consumer friendly decision. So I'm always glad to see something like that. But as far as anything further than that, I don't really have a ton else to say. But yeah, happy to see this.
Nice. And before we get on to the next topic, would you ever play Apex Legends one of these days?
You know what? I think I've thought about this. I think what it would take for me personally is like a good friend of mine being really into it and being like, hey, do you want to consistently hop on and play together? And I think that something like that would somewhat compel me to dive in. But I think that alone wouldn't be enough. I would also need to like really enjoy playing it, which sounds like an obvious thing, but I think it's a combination of those two things. And other than that, I don't really see myself hopping in. Like I can tell you right now, if it was just me by myself, I would not hop in. But
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I don't play multiplayer games by myself anymore. Like I just gave up that whole thing. It's just like I need somebody else to play with, or else it's like, nah, I'm good. So, yeah, that's Apex and EA and Respawn as well. I know Respawn. I mean, people like to clown on EA, but I think Respawn is at fault here, and glad to see them address this issue as well. So, yeah, next update from the last episode. We were talking about that Emio or whatever, the smiling mask man from Nintendo. They put out this little teaser and everybody was hyped like, whoa, what is this, a new IP or? But turns out it's a visual novel game that's being resurrected from a long time ago. I think it's from the Super Nintendo era, I believe. And they have remakes on the Switch store that you can buy, but this is like a new entry in the series for Famicom Detective Club. This one is called Emio the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, which is the full title. And it's going to be releasing on August 29th, so in about a month. And it's the first new story in 35 years, so a lot of people got mad at this. They were expecting something more different, more gameplay focused instead of a visual novel, But yeah, I think when I saw this, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't mind visual novels. Like, I don't think I've ever played one. I played like an hour of like Higurashi on Steam.
Oh wow!
And that's
dang, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, that was like, and you have to install these mods and all these like patches to like get the best experience. So it's a whole lot of work before you get started. Man, that was like a year ago, I think. So like, I gotta get back into it, but it was like I only had like an hour of that. So for this, people got mad. I mean, I guess it's all right. For this is like, it's like a nothing burger for me. So it's just like I didn't really care at the same time. But I know a lot of people are mad. So are any of you visual novel fans? Would you be interested in picking up Emio the Smiling Man? It might look very violent. So keep your eyes peeled for this. You might get scared. You wanna buy this, Henry?
Do I? No, I do not.
No.
I mean, I do enjoy a good visual novel every once in a while. Like I love Danganronpa is like one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Like I played the Steins Gate games. I really liked the anime, so I played those as well. Really enjoyed them. There's a handful of others here and there. I mean, I can't read without falling asleep most of the time though. So I try to stay away from them unless I know like this is a really like big deal. But it's very funny to see this reveal and then see people get frustrated because I was like, I think we literally said on the last episode when we were talking about this, like, why are people so excited about this? Like, this is we don't know what it is yet. And
I was one of them.
I think we all kind of said that, and I think I'll definitely repeat something that Cam said. Now that it's been released, I went back and listened to the segment earlier just to make sure I could follow up on this and from what we said last time. And Cam said, I don't even trust Nintendo to do a mature rated game. And I kind of agree with that. Like I see this and I say, who cares? Not only because it's an old series that I've never heard of that is somehow being resurrected that I don't think anybody cares about, but like also what track record does Nintendo have with mature rated titles? I mean, they are a super family, kid friendly company that kind of specializes in that kind of stuff. And, this is so outside their wheelhouse. I don't trust them with it at all. So, whoever's been waiting, I think literally 20 or 30 years or something like that since the last game, like, here you go. You got it, man. But
they might be dead
not
too.
One of them.
You never know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, over that amount of time, very, very possible. Who knows? But Cam, what do you think?
Yeah, this actually was like kind of interesting to me because I have listened to a few like enthusiast gaming podcasts in the past, and I had actually heard about Famicom Detective Club, which is something I'd like heard them talk about but never really explored myself. So it's kind of interesting to see that is what it ended up being related to. But yeah, I kind of feel the same way as I did before, like you're alluding to. I will say, like, for anybody curious, and I don't, I'm not definitely saying this is not a good one for one, but they actually like remade a few of the Famicom Detective Club games, or not remade, probably remaster is a better way to put it, or maybe even port, if you want to go like harsh. But they actually did that a few years ago, so you could at least check that out. I would imagine it's like kind of an easy way to just see like what these are all about to some extent. So thought that was worth mentioning. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I looked into this a little bit as far as like the older games, because I'm assuming they're probably shooting for like a similar feel, and it just didn't really look like my thing. I think if it's hard for me, I've talked about this before, like tone is a big thing, and I think if you're gonna choose to do like a really dark game, then I think it kind of needs the whole package, and like visually it does not look like a serious game. Story wise, it's trying to be a serious game. I don't know, you know how like picky I am about that sort of thing, so it's like, I don't know, for that reason alone it seemed like it wasn't super interesting to me. But who knows, I mean, maybe it'll turn out super well. Not sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the reviews on this. I might even pick it up with the the Vanity Critic, because I need something to draft, and the year's winding down. So I don't know if the other games reviewed well, even though it's been 35 years. Do visual novels even rate good? I think Fata Morgana, I think that one reviewed like 95, which is like another visual novel. So
they can review well. Yeah, it's just like any other
tough.
Game. It just depends. So
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm gonna piss some people off. I feel like I do that every episode, which is fine. That's cool. But I was gonna say, it's funny you mentioned Fata Morgana, because I've heard, well, for a while now, I've heard like really, really good things about that game, and it was on a deep sale on Steam, like, I don't know, a few months ago. I picked it up and I tried it. I actually haven't talked about it on the podcast, even though I've played it since we've started the podcast. I put like a decent amount of time into it, and I honestly like was not super into it. It's kind of a unique game, and I respected it for that. It's like it takes like a house and all the generations that have like lived in the house, and tells a story like for each generation that lived in the house, which I think is a really cool idea.
That's cool.
But like in practice, it just turned out, and like I don't know, I think I'm like almost done with the second story out of 5, I believe. So it's, debatable. I don't know, maybe the last 3 are the best ones. I'm not sure, but the way that the first one turned out, I was just like, this is like super cliche and not extremely interesting. So all that is to say, I actually have played and enjoyed visual novels in the past, which is why I bring that up. But this one in particular, not really into the idea of.
Wow. Anything off the top of your mind that you enjoyed? Any visual novels?
As far as visual novels go,
Yeah.
Geez, yeah. Now it's funny because now that I'm put on the spot, which I should have expected, I can't really think of something off the top of my head. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll
Yeah,
look.
of course. Yeah, the Fata Morgana, it's funny because I know a lot of people who loved it, and then there's some reviews that give it like a 7 out of 10, where like they just didn't enjoy it compared to those people. So it's like it might be an acquired taste.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first thing that jumped to mind was Danganronpa, which I've only played a couple of them, and I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them decently, but they also do the thing I was just talking about, which, like, this is very much a Japanese game thing to do at times, where in Danganronpa it gets very goofy sometimes, which I just am a hard ass and don't enjoy. But I was gonna say Zero Escape That series I
Yeah.
really, really like. That is a great example of what I think is a visual novel done really well. So that's the first one that jumps to mind.
Nice. That's what's up. So would you say you're a visual novel fan, or you're like a casual
Yeah,
enjoyer?
yeah, I would say so. Like I think
Nice.
I think I would say it that way. I mean, I love to read as well, so it kind of makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the alternative to what you were talking about, Henry, where it's like if you like to read, I think you can get into them more easily. I don't necessarily think it's like a guarantee you're going to enjoy them, but I think you can get into them more easily, and vice versa. I think that just makes sense. So,
Yeah.
Nice. So, I mean, I still have to like get into my first visual novel. I don't know if Higurashi is probably the one that should be the one, or it should be Danganronpa. But in the future, yeah, what was that?
That is an interesting choice. Yeah, the first visual novel you ever played is Higurashi. That is an interesting choice for sure.
It was a recommendation. That's why.
Okay, I mean, like it's one people like. It's just it's not one of the like gateway ones that I normally hear people talk about.
Yeah.
Danganronpa or like Phoenix Wright or something like that.
Oh, you know what? Phoenix Wright might be the one that's gonna hook me in, honestly. Cause I bought the there's like the collection on PS4 that I got for like
Yep.
$20, and it's just been sitting there. So one of these days I probably will tackle those.
I played the first one and I enjoyed it, and then like I kind of fell off. It kind
Aw.
of just got too samey. But like I enjoyed the first one. It's fun.
Nice.
But I when since we're going through visual novel recommendations, I would highly recommend AI: The Somnium Files. It's one of my
that
favorites.
one.
It's also from the same guy who did Zero Escape. So
Yep.
it's very good.
I heard of that one too. That's the ones that it has like on my wish list. So
Oh, damn, 13 Sentinels too. I don't know why I didn't
Oh,
mention
that's
that.
fantastic. Yeah, that's a
Yep.
great one.
it's from Atlas and Vanillaware, or
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
Yep.
okay, got you.
It's
Yeah,
a
well done.
fantastic one.
Yeah, I've heard of all of them, so it's just like I just gotta get into it. So,
But you went with Higurashi.
it's tough. I
Out of all
mean,
of 'em.
man, I spent like an hour on it. I think I was eating Papa John's that day, and it's just like eating pizza and just reading it. It was kind of tough. So then I think that's why I stopped. I think the pizza was too much for me.
I can
So-
imagine that would not go well with a meal. Yeah.
It was like a fucking stuffed crust pizza, and it was just like it was good though, but just reading it, it's just like it just didn't mesh well as I thought it would. So it's been a year, so yeah. I was gonna say something too, but I think we could just move on to the next topic. This one's interesting. Apparently they've done a couple of studies in this one, different surveys as well, and well, the main one here is that is there like a survey here? It's just according to a report by the ComScore 2024 State of Gaming Report by Game Informer, and they found out that 82% of American video game players have made an in-game purchase last year. So from the people they surveyed, they made a microtransaction purchase, and I will say that I am that one of those American players that did purchase a microtransaction within the last year. Man, I don't even know how much. Probably like over $100 or
Really? Okay.
man. I think it depends. I think
What, Apex?
do gacha games. Wait, what was that? Apex.
Apex or what?
No, Apex. No, I think when I bought the battle pass, it was like a long time ago, and I haven't bought anything in the game since.
Gotcha.
So, do gacha games count on their phone? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, for
Oh.
sure, yeah.
Transaction. Yeah.
They're
Oh,
probably
man.
the king of what this is talking about, if I had to guess.
Oh man, that's like we're reaching the $500 territory.
Oh my gosh. Alexis.
Damn.
I think in total, I think I spent over 1,000. I think from like
Lifetime total?
so.
Dang.
Yeah, so the game I was talking about is Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Just
Gotcha.
I've been playing that since like high school, so it's like been like 8 years, I think. So like it's been a while. So I mean, it accumulated over time. They have sales and stuff. So yeah, I am one of those percentage of 82% of American players. They also have other statistics as well, where like 62% of adults over the age of 18 played a video game. Millennials at 49, Gen Z at 13. Wait, what? Okay, hold up. That doesn't make sense. Let me keep reading this. 77% play on more than one platform. So, people have different platforms as well. That's why console wars are dumb as hell. There's like a lot more. It's not really that interesting, but I did find that like a lot of people did buy microtransactions, even though you do see that people are against it. I want to hand it off to any of you guys. Are you part of that American audience where you've bought an in-game purchase? I mean, you guys are like more single player focused, but I do know some single player games have like microtransactions as well, like Capcom games infamously has. So yeah, Henry, have you bought any microtransaction within the last year? And if so, how much? I want to see how much you paid for it, if you don't mind.
It's gonna be easy for me, man. I have spent $0.00 in the last
Zero.
year. Yeah, I'm apparently one of the 18% holdout, which is, I mean, like it's very interesting. I have spent money on microtransactions before. It was just a long time ago. I spent $5 on Pokemon Go. When I had a lot of friends playing Pokemon Go way back in the day. It was, just to kind of catch up with some of them, I spent $5 and bought some stuff to kind of make my life a little bit easier and catch up with them. So that's the only time I've ever spent money on a game with in-game purchases ever. And now it's just really interesting to see this because I feel like everywhere you go, you see people pushing back on microtransactions. They don't like them. They don't want them. Don't put them in my game. And here we are. Everyone seems to be buying them. And when I saw these people talking about this study, it was like, yeah, I spent money on microtransactions. I'm part of the problem. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well, it seems like we're all just doing it, but we're all complaining about it. Okay, this is odd. But I think if you don't like microtransactions, if you're one of the people complaining about it, this study just kind of cements too bad. This is here to stay, and if anything, going to get even worse. So I would prefer to not have microtransactions in the game. I think that most of the time microtransactions inherently are going to disrupt the balance of your game, or encourage practices. Like I don't think like a gacha game well, you can definitely have gacha game mechanics that F up your game. But like I think, a lot of gacha game, like if you're doing just cosmetics or something, gacha mechanics, that's not inherently bad, but it is pushing gambling practices onto people, which is not good either. So like I would just appreciate if these weren't there at all. But I am clearly a dying breed, and I'm interested to hear if Cam is with me or with Alexis on this one.
Yeah, I would say that honestly, like in general, I was trying to think to myself if I have ever done this, like have ever done a microtransaction. And it's funny because this article is specifically referring to last year or within the last year, but I was thinking of like, have I ever? And, if any of my friends are listening to this and one, feel free to message me and say, no, you liar. I don't think I've ever done a microtransaction, to my knowledge.
Ever.
And so I would say I definitely didn't within the last year. But, yeah, I don't think I ever have. Even when I was, the thing that I thought of was like League of Legends, because I was like, okay, that would be probably one of the only times I would have, if I did. And I thought back and I'm like, no, I bought every skin I have in that game with the in-game currency. Like I just waited till I had enough to buy it, I think. Again, unless I'm just forgetting something. So yeah, definitely in the 18%. I will say I would be very curious to know exactly how they did this survey, because I find this really hard to believe it's as high as 82, because maybe I'm naive, but anecdotally, like, and I talk to a lot of people who play games here and there, but like almost everybody I know doesn't. So I'm like, this is very surprising to me to see that it's this high, but I don't know, maybe it is. I think also, we've talked before about how like, yeah, we've been surprised to see like, they call them whales, I suppose, but whales spending like, $700 on one mobile game, right? So like maybe I'm just naive, but yeah, this is very surprising to me that it was this high for sure.
Yeah, the with the whales thing, that's funny because for the game I'm playing on my phone, which is Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, there's like YouTubers and stuff that dedicate their whole lives to like spending as much money, and yeah, it's just like these people, they spend like thousands of dollars like every month or so whenever like a new banner comes out. So like a banner is like new characters and stuff like that. So when that happens, people just spend like thousands of dollars, and they just be summoning for these new characters, and it's just like the whales be like they fund the game, honestly. Like they fund like the servers and all that stuff, which I don't mind as much because gacha games are like for that, but like for console games it's different because it tells the developer that they can keep doing that, and where because you have to the phone games are usually free, right? And for console games you gotta like pay $70 $60. So when that happens, people are just like, they don't want to spend money, and that's why the people are against microtransactions on the console games compared to a phone, which is like more acceptable with that. So I mean, it just depends on like which kind of game, because I know people they spend money on Helldivers too, and they didn't really mind it because it was like a good company, or supposedly, so like they didn't really mind the microtransactions in that game compared to like an Activision Blizzard game where if you spend money on Diablo 4 or something, or even Overwatch, people are like, they're gonna look at you like you did something bad. Speaking of Overwatch, they have a collab with Transformers, so I think they've also had collabs with Cowboy Bebop. Henry, so anime fan right there. You wanna get into well, it's not there anymore, but they used to have a Cowboy Bebop collab, but now it's Transformers. So yeah, it's interesting. And when I played Overwatch, the skins are like $25 for Transformers for one character. I mean, it looks good though, but like it's expensive. Like to get everything's gonna cost like 80 to $100. So it's just like, I wonder who's buying that. And of course, the streamers are buying it, and YouTubers, because they need it, even though they do complain about it, but like they're gonna buy it. So it's just like you're not doing anything at that point. So yeah, with this, I am a part of the problem, but I'm not complaining because it depends on the game, of course. But like for like Apex, I mean, I'm not spending money in that game, and I mean a lot of people aren't as well. So like with this, I'm not complaining, so it doesn't really affect me as well as a lot of people are like, they take it personally. So yeah, with this, it's whatever. So I don't mind in-game purchases.
Alexis, I do have a question, kind of to follow up on that. Do you think you said you spent thousands? If I heard that correctly?
Thousands, no. I think less than 2,000. Not like, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I think, yeah.
So over 1,000. I'm not looking for an exact figure. You don't have to give that, but it's a good amount of money. It's more than you'd pay for any like typical $70 game, right?
Pretty
so
much.
Do you think that you have gotten the value of those microtransactions from that game? Has your investment, rewarded you with an equivalent amount of happiness or reward, or what was your money well spent?
I will say yes, because I think the game is like, I've played a lot. Like I played on my way to work, when I commute, on my way back, or when I'm at the gym, I'm just playing it constantly. So it's just like, and like some of the characters are just badass, so it's just like I need them, but I haven't spent money on it in like a long time. So I'm trying to think. I think it's less than 1,000, not like over 1,000. I don't think so. Less than 1,000 for sure. Yeah. So I will say it was worth it, because like they do give you like a lot of free items as well. So it's just like, here's my money, and enjoy it. So
okay.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm not like,
and you have a roof over your head, and you can pay rent and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like minuscule compared to like other people playing the game. Like, it's insane, like how much people spend. Like, they spend like tens of thousands of dollars on this. So, yeah. And I only buy it during the sales. So, like, that only happens like every couple months. Um, so yeah, I haven't really spent money on it. So like, it's good. So, yeah. I mean, I do keep watch of my money. I'm always like budgeting and stuff like that. So I'm not worried about that. Compared to other people who are like gambling and stuff. So that's like a bigger issue with this as well. So, um, yeah, that's it for this topic. I think we can move on to the next one. This one's funny because I did worry about this with. So this one's Resident Evil 7 on iOS, which just came out recently. It has been purchased less than 2,000 times. So, putting in all those numbers, they found out that they probably earned $28,140 from the game, and this is prior to the cut that Apple takes, so it's even less than that. And yeah, it's crazy with this, and it just reaffirms everything that making phone ports of like console games is just not worth the effort, because like the game just like it degrades in quality, because you're playing on a small screen, the controls are not the same. Your phone's gonna get hot, it's gonna get not gonna last a long time, and it's just not worth it. Like, just buy like a PlayStation Portal or a Steam Deck at that point. Like, there's no point in buying it for your phone. I mean, some people do like the convenience of that, where it's like a small phone you can put in your pocket and stuff like that. But at that point, just play different games. Like, just play mobile games that were designed for the phone. Like, this is a console game that you need to play in a console. Just like, and it's even better on the console. So just like, yeah, you don't need it on the phone, honestly. And I mean, they also predicted, or they also suggested that maybe the other ports, like, remember Resident Evil 4 was on the is on the phone. There's RE Village, Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and stuff like that. And they probably didn't sell a lot as well, because people on the phone and the people on the consoles, the gamers on both of those platforms, it's a different audience. And when I saw this, I was kind of like not surprised. I was just like, oh wow, but like not shocked at the same time, because I expected that. So yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say with this. I mean, people on the phone is just different type of audience. I don't know if you guys want to say anything. So, Henry, yeah, I want to hear what you say about this. 2,000 times, damn! Like, they didn't even sell that much.
Yeah, it's. I'll tell you what I have to say. Is pretty much the exact same thing you did. Really what this highlighted for me is there's two audiences. There's a console audience and there's a mobile market, and they have different tastes and they want to play different games. And I pretty much echo the exact same sentiment you have for why that would be the case. If you click on the article, it's actually hilarious to like the screenshot they use at the top of the article is like, it's a screenshot of obviously Resident Evil 7 on the iPhone, and it's got like basically the button layout of a controller over the screen.
Oh man,
like you do when you're playing a game on an iPhone or iOS or whatever, and it looks horrible. It looks absolutely disgusting. I would not want to play it that way. The only way I could possibly see myself doing this is if I had like a controller, like Bluetooth set up with my phone, or streaming it, over. And I would still have to have a controller. Like, there's just no way I wouldn't play it without a controller. And then, like you said, it would just totally destroy your battery life, which I need my phone for everything else in my life, so I can't have it. I'm very paranoid about having my phone on low battery, so I can't do that either. So it's interesting, though, because I've always been kind of a proponent of the phone will eventually take over the console space. Like, we won't have consoles at some point. We will have phones that do everything a console or a computer does. And I still think, if I think really, really far out into the future, that's still the possibility, and that's still the likely outcome. But I think where we are right now, that's clearly not the case. And I think this shows it. I think, it's still a very low number. Like, that's still very surprising to me. When almost every person in the world has an iPhone, you think, or has well, I guess this is only on iOS. So a lot of people, millions and millions of people have an iPhone. You think more than 2,000 of them would probably buy this game, but they clearly didn't because of the crossover, So it's it's an interesting stat to see, and you probably won't see Capcom put many console games on the phone moving forward.
Yeah.
Cam, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't have a ton to add. I think you guys pretty much covered it, but I think that the writing was on the wall for this one from the beginning. I'm actually really surprised that, I mean, really anybody thought this was a good idea. So, and Henry, I'm right there with you as far as like mobile gaming goes. It's like probably the number one problem to me is just it eats your battery alive. And I know people are going to be like, oh, just plug the phone in or whatever. It's not that difficult. It's like, yeah, I have 4 different phone chargers. That's fine. But also, so when are you implying that I would be playing the game? Like when I'm around where I can plug in a charger? Well, then it defeats the purpose of the game being mobile. I might as well just be plugged in on my console and play it on a TV. So like that's what I don't like understand about the mobile gaming thing. Especially when it's something like this, it's going to be intensive and it's going to drain your battery. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. But I don't know. Maybe I'm like old man yelling at the clouds with mobile gaming, but that's just how I see it.
I think a lot of people are with you on that, like including me. It's just that when like the phone games, is like, I mean, people. I mean, Henry, I don't know if I can agree with you with the phones taking over. I think because I think it's just a different market and stuff. And now that market has been established as like that's the Candy Crush, short game. I don't know. Market and stuff like that, and it's just like you gotta like make games that fit for the phone, and just like I think it has to be like new games. Like you can't just port a game over unless maybe it might be like Stardew Valley or Minecraft or something like that. But more people would rather play that on a better hardware and stuff like that. And like with this, it's just like I'm good on this. Like when I saw that RE4 was on the phone, I thought that was cool. Like, you know, RE4 remake on the iPhone, like, oh, cool. But it's not something I'm looking out for. Like, I'm not buying the new $1,000 iPhone just to play RE4 when I can just do that on the PS5 for half the price and with like better controls and graphics and stuff like that. And like, yeah, it's just that's all I have to say on this. So not surprised at all that it sold less than 2,000. So I wonder who did buy it. It must have been the YouTubers testing it out, I think. Or like the streamers just buying this game. So it's just like, who actually bought this who isn't a YouTuber testing it out? So yeah, that's all I have to say on this. We can get into this the last topic, talking about FTC and the Game Pass and everything, Activision Blizzard. The FTC is back. They're back and they're talking shit about Xbox for some reason. They just said this out of nowhere. This was after when they announced Call of Duty for Game Pass, so Black Ops 6, and just recently, Modern Warfare 3. Well, the new Modern Warfare 3 is going to be on Game Pass. So, like, with this, they said that it's consumer harm for all this Activision Blizzard, and they call Game Pass a degraded product, and they say it is common for businesses to change services offerings over time, which is what Microsoft says. And with this, they claim that when the Activision Blizzard merger happened, that the quality would go down, the prices would increase, and the quality would just degrade over time. I mean, I don't know if I can agree with that, because I think Game Pass is still like a very good product. Like there's still a lot of good games on it and stuff. Like there's like a lot of like new releases and stuff. It's just like the price increase is expected because like, I mean, everything's increased in price everywhere. So like Game Pass is only inevitable. And with this Call of Duty stuff and Activision Blizzard games, it'll make sense just to increase the price to like, but then you increase the quality. Like Black Ops 6, that's like a huge game for Game Pass. And you're also getting all the other games. So it's just like, it makes sense with the price increase. But then, you know, FTC, they're just like, they think it's going to be bad for the market and stuff like that. And not sure I can agree with them on this. Yeah, with this, I mean, with Game Pass, I mean, you're getting good value, even though it did increase in price, which they announced. I mean, it's still a product worth your money, as long as you play the games, of course. I know Henry can attest to that, where he plays out all these new games day one. He finds it valuable. So yeah, I want to hand it off to you, Henry, since you're the Game Pass connoisseur in here, like you said. So are you with or against the FTC on this? I mean, I guess they do have a point, but not at the same time with this.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. It is FTC. I mean, the FTC's job is to basically attack Microsoft for this. That's literally their purpose in life, and I think they're doing an okay job. I think that they have a point, and then they also don't have a point. This subscription service was always going to increase. Every subscription service increases, and prices in general will increase over time no matter what. So, it's interesting for them to obviously point that out and say, well, you increase prices because of this. And I think to be fair, Microsoft did. Like, let's be real. They literally bought the biggest acquisition ever, and they needed to recoup. And so they upped the prices of Game Pass. Like, that was probably a very direct correlation. So, yeah, if they had never bought Activision Blizzard, would the prices have increased? Yes. Would they have increased now? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to say, but you can probably make an argument for it. The other one that they say is, like, their console tier basically got screwed. And I completely agree with that. I think if you had the console tier on Xbox Game Pass prior to this change, you had a much better deal going forward than you did previously. So to recap that, the console tier lost day one games, and so that was like the big get for pretty much any Game Pass subscription, and they lost that, and now they just have a back catalog of games, and pretty much that's it. And so you really do get screwed if you're there. So I think the FTC is totally right. They definitely messed up those guys. But Microsoft's rebuttal, I think, is comical almost, which is, well, yeah, we degraded the quality of it, but we added multiplayer to it, and multiplayer was not included in the previous plan. So like that was an additional $10. So like now you're basically getting an added $10 worth of value onto the standard tier, which is obviously bullcrap because you're taking away the most valuable part of Game Pass, which is the day one releases. So it's silly to even counter that in any way. So I think, yeah, the FTC is just being a guard dog, as they should, and that's their purpose and job. So good on them there. But yeah, it's just interesting to see this exchange, Microsoft trying to defend, kind of milking Game Pass, and the FTC trying to do their best to maul them. So it's an interesting exchange at the very least.
Yeah, it's with this, it's just like, I think with Microsoft, it's weird because I know everybody's against like corporations and stuff like that, but like, I mean, they do have a point. Call of Duty is huge and stuff, but like with that, it was expected. I think everybody expected the price to go up. So I mean, the different tiers is different. Like I didn't expect that, but the price, yeah, I mean, I expected that. So I mean, who wasn't expecting that? I mean, as long as the games get good, like next year, I think next year will be a huge year for Game Pass. So yeah, they gotta increase the price. That's basically what it's normal business practice, basically. So you want to add anything to this, Cam, or are we good to go?
I think for the most part we're good to go. I like what Henry said.
Yeah, I like that. Are you gonna continue Game Pass in the future, Henry? Like for 2025, would you continue paying?
100%.
100%.
Yeah, no doubt. It's still such a good deal for me. Like we said on the last episode, it's like a gym membership, and I use this way more than my gym membership. So it's still a very good value. Most definitely.
That's a cool compare. I never seen anybody say that before, where they compare it to like a gym. Which, I mean, I do have a gym membership, and I use it like most of the time. So like, okay, yeah, that was interesting. I like that. I like the comparison. So makes sense too. Yeah, that's it for the news. Pretty cool stuff. Maybe next week there might be some more stuff. Let's get into our impressions. Can we start with Cam on this? I wanna.
Yeah, please do. I've started everything so far.
Yeah.
Let Cam start.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also, I think mine will actually be maybe pretty simple. I've been playing a lot of like filler gaming time, which is like what I describe as, sports games or just like monotonous things that don't really require a ton of talking about them. But I have played in the midst of all that some other things that I did want to kind of bring here. So I think I'll hit on probably the shorter one first, or the one that I have like less time into. It's probably a better way to put it, which is Tunic, which I've only been playing for a few hours. I just recently started it because it was, I think it was one of the PS Plus games recently, and I downloaded it, and I just now got around to playing it. I'm conflicted on this game, which is kind of difficult to say because when you hear this much buzz about something, you kind of expect to just naturally go in loving it. So that's sort of been an interesting experience, I think. But I'm conflicted on it. So I'll kind of hit on good and bad. I feel like I always like spreading my discussions into pros and cons. And so like, I think one of the big pluses is I really like the way it looks. It's got a really cool art style. It's almost reminds me of like Link's Awakening remake in a weird way, like very blocky characters, very cartoony looking, in a cool way. And so I definitely like the graphics. I've definitely been enjoying some of like the puzzle-y aspects of it. Has been pretty fun, and I think it's a unique game, which I always, give bonus points to things that feel unique. Clearly inspired by Legend of Zelda in many ways. They've come out and said that, and also it's very plain to see just with the way it looks, the way it plays, kind of the top-down feel to it is very like classic Legend of Zelda. The biggest con to me, and really the reason why I think if I don't end up finishing this will probably be the reason why I'm really not enjoying the combat in this game. The combat in this game is like very, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It feels like it's one of those things that's very simplistic, but also tricky at the same time. So, that's sort of a hard thing to describe, right? Because when you say simple combat, you think of you think easy. Right, and I wouldn't say this is easy per se, because it does get a little tricky, but I don't know. It feels like too simple for me. It's like I feel like the combat is very much getting in the way of traversing the world and doing puzzles. Right, like the combat to me feels like I have to get through this to get to the stuff that I like. Which I always think is a problem in general for any game, right? When you have a aspect of the game that you basically look at as like an obligation rather than, something that's fun. But that's how the combat feels to me so far. Given, keeping in mind, like, yeah, I'm still fairly early into the game. So we'll see how that progresses, I suppose. I did try kind of going in with a more open mind of like, okay, I'm not going to try to form any too early opinions on this. Like maybe there's an extra weapon that comes along. Maybe there's an extra gimmick that comes along. I have no idea if there is or isn't. I don't know a ton about this game.
Yeah, I've played and beat it. Yeah, I really love it. I think it's a great game. I do think that your complaints are not unfounded though. I played that game day one, I think, on Game Pass. I think it was a day one Game Pass game, and so it's been a minute since I played it, but I don't even remember the combat very well in the game at all. So you're saying you don't like the combat. I don't necessarily blame you for that. I do kind of remember it being a difficult game in combat. It has a Souls-like tinge to it, if I remember correctly. Where this game really, really shines is, I'm assuming, I don't know how early on you are when you say early, but I assume you've probably been introduced to like the manual and how puzzles typically work in the game, and probably you've found a couple of things that kind of show off the design of the world and how things are kind of structured, and I think that's where this game really is outstanding, and that's what I really remember about this game and really loved about it, and think it does some really interesting things and some really innovative things in that way. And I understand people who really like it. I actually haven't heard anybody complain about it too
Nice.
much, but I think your complaints are definitely understandable from what I remember. But I would highly encourage you to continue going and see if you can find kind of what I was talking about and latch onto that later in the game, and maybe you'll appreciate it more. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's good to hear because that's kind of exactly what I think. Like my preliminary game plan is to do that. So yeah, that's reassuring to hear. And like honestly, like I was saying, I think the things you're talking up have been really solid. Like the the idea of the manual, it's obviously still early on for me, but I can already kind of see where this is going. At least I assume, which maybe I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I have a different thing in mind, but I can kind of see where it's going, and I think it's a cool idea. So yeah, no, that was like kind of a quick hit game. Like I said, it's been a lot of filler. I've actually been super busy too. It's funny. I think Alexis, you mentioned you've been kind of busy lately, but I've been super busy too. So like I said, haven't had a ton of time to play stuff, but that was one thing I had been playing. And then the second game I was going to talk about is, and it feels like we've talked about this before, like here and there, but not really from an impression perspective from my point of view, which is Valkyria Chronicles 4. And
Yeah.
I think overall, and Henry, I don't think you'll necessarily disagree with me on this, the quickest way I could sum it up, if somebody was like, tell me right now what Valkyria 4 is like, I would say very, very similar to 1, but better. it's like okay, there are like the most through lines in a sequel labeled with the number 4 versus the original game that I think I've probably ever seen, right? Like it is so similar to 1 in a lot of ways. And so I don't really think that's a bad thing either, because I really like the first game. So I don't really even say that as a negative, but yeah, it's a solid game. Like I've talked before about this series to say that, it's a very unique style of game. It's got a very unique gameplay to it. It's almost like it's like a mixture of tactical combat and turn-based combat, which I think is super interesting because you have like a limited amount of movement that you can do on the map, but also, you alternate in turns who you're controlling. And so I think like those characteristics are super unique and what makes the game really shine. But in general, I think it's definitely a solid game. I think so far, and I would say at this point, probably a little less than halfway through, so far, the story has not like super hooked me in, but it's compelling enough to definitely keep going. The combat is exactly what I was hoping for, exactly what I expected. And so, from a gameplay perspective, it's been really solid, I think. I do like the kind of the change-ups they've done from the first game. So they added like a new class, like Grenadier class. I think it's got kind of unique gameplay to it where it's basically almost like an Overwatch class for people that have played XCOM. Like that's kind of what I think of. It's like the class that you want to kind of plan down to make sure people aren't running up on you too much. So I think that's kind of interesting that they sort of change things around to punish the enemy's movement a little more from the first game, because I think in the first game you do get into this problem of like, yes, you have like the return fire on the enemy's turns, but it's not, I think it's somewhat limited. And then there's certain classes as you're playing the game that just don't return fire. Like a sniper is not going to return fire while the enemy's moving, which makes sense. So I do like the new class.
Oh yeah,
I think everything feels similar, but in a way that it spices things up a little bit. One thing they did that I think everybody was begging for from the first game is they cut down the movement on the scouts, because that got absolutely absurd in the first game. So I do think that's a good a good change. I think if there was one if there was one flaw to the gameplay or like really the class-based system itself, it's that, I think, and maybe I just haven't run into the right mission yet for this. I do think engineers in both the first and the fourth game feel like kind of I don't know, it feels kind of like, I wouldn't say useless is very harsh, but feels like kind of a little bit of a shafted class, I guess I would say, because like, it's like, okay, you attack very similarly to a scout, right? You have slightly less movement than a scout, and the trade-offs, like the positive trade-offs that you give me that make you different from a scout just don't really feel worth it enough for me to use them. And I think with a game like this, obviously, everybody's going to have their preferences, right? So I'm sure there's somebody that's out there rolling out like 5 of the tank killing units and just like using them for, hand-to-hand combat or like soldier-to-soldier combat. I'm sure somebody's done that, and I'm sure people like, probably are into having 4 snipers out on the field or whatever. I like having a more balanced team myself. But I find myself when I'm building a team kind of, basically not bringing an engineer in. Because I'm like, okay, I don't know, I'd rather just have a scout. Feels kind of more, I don't know, more useful to me. And I know that the thing that they did in the first game to try to make you kind of use the engineers more, and I think it's actually done better in the fourth game, is the engineer is the only class that can like disable mines. But
yeah, it's true.
In even playing the fourth game, where I think they put more mines in to tempt me more, the mines are so easy to dodge that I'm almost like, even that's not really a super compelling reason to have the engineer, because like I could just run around them. So I don't know. That's kind of my take on the like the classes themselves. But overall, pretty fun game. I picked up the DLC for dirt cheap because I think anybody who like hasn't heard of Valkyria or just hasn't bought it yet, these games go on sale for so cheap on pretty much any console. Like you can get a 2-pack of the first and the fourth game for like $12 if you wait for the right sale. It's like absurd. And the DLC is the same way. Like I waited, and the DLC was the season pass for the fourth game. I think I paid like $6 or $7, and like it's a decent chunk of additional content. So like I'd highly recommend that too. I do like, obviously you do all the story, you have to, right? But I do some of the side content, but I would say probably not all of it. I basically just kind of dip in as the game goes on into the side content, like as I see fit. And I think one of the reasons why I probably didn't do all of it in the first game is just because I didn't want to get over leveled. But I mean, I think it's debatable, and I don't know, maybe you have a different opinion than me. I think even saying that is a little bit debatable, because like over leveled in this game, I don't think makes a massive difference. It's almost like more important what like R&D and weapon upgrading you've done rather than like leveling up the classes. I mean, they do give you orders and things, but I feel like the guns and the equipment is probably more important than leveling up. But I don't know. That's just my kind of impression on it.
Yeah, I'd say they're equally important, to be quite frank.
Mm-hmm.
So you can obviously build it's a strategy game, so you can build it around however you want. And you can still succeed even if like you never level up or if you never put upgrades in. But it's going to be obviously way harder. So
Sure.
But I'll let you continue talking about it though.
Oh yeah, no, and honestly, like feel free to kind of chime in if you want to add anything else, because like that was for the most part kind of all I had to say about it so far. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun, and really glad to dip back into a game like this, because I've been feeling the strategy itch lately, and like this definitely has been fitting the bill into kind of like what I've been wanting to play. So yeah, I think that might be the fastest impressions I've done in the history of the podcast. But yeah, that was kind of all I had to say this week.
You guys are like, you speak highly of Valkyrie Chronicles. It's just like, it makes me want to dig into these games.
It's worth it.
We're influencers, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
When is the next game gonna come out? Because I looked it up. They haven't released it.
Never.
Never. Oh damn.
Never. Yeah, I was gonna say.
No. Why?
Yeah.
Is-
Because this
They
series
just
has
don't sell
always
well.
sold. Yeah, they don't sell at all.
Oh, okay. Just a passion project at this point then.
100%. I mean, like Valkyria has I'd say a very dedicated fan base. You know, like Cam and I are literally sitting here talking very highly of it, and we've played it. The problem is nobody freaking played it. So like, you know, the people
Yep.
who like it, and so that's why they made a 4. He opened up Pandora's box. Now I have to talk about Valkyria Chronicles. So I apologize,
Sure.
but to give a history lesson, because I've followed it from the very beginning. Valkyria Chronicles 1 came out on the PS3 and sold horrifically. They even, like, back in the day, like, only like a month after it came out, they slashed it to $30 because it was selling so poorly. They were like, we have to create word of mouth on this. Just cut the price. So, like, they were out of the gate struggling heavily with getting this game in anybody's hands. The game sold so bad, but they still made a sequel, but they put it on the PSP. So it was a console game. They moved it to the PSP, significantly downgraded, and turned it into I'm not going to say a very different kind of game, but it was almost like Monster Hunter-esque. It was really trying to go for like a Monster Hunter crowd where like you jump in and do a small mission and jump out. And it was kind of really geared towards a Japanese audience. That game didn't sell well in the States. I guess it did better in Japan because they did make a third game, and that never came out in America. The only way you can play that at all is if you buy a Japanese copy of it and then install mods that people have. Over the course of years, there was a group of people who translated and modded Valkyria Chronicles 3 into English so you could finally play it.
So cool.
Yeah, exactly. Love that. I have still not played it because I'm just waiting for, like, you know, a rainy day. Like, that's like a game like I know I'm going to love, so I'm like, sure. Like, I will hold off on this until, you know, like I'm like on my deathbed and I'll be like, I want to go out in the best way possible. Like, I'm going to play Valkyria Chronicles 3. And then years after that, a long time after that, they made Valkyria Chronicles 4 and they put it back on consoles and tried to make it, you know, traditional in the way that, you know, what made Valkyria Chronicles 1 so great. They wanted to kind of return to that. And I think the problem that Cam is alluding to, and I think I agree with, is they didn't do much to change it. They just made Valkyria Chronicles 1.5. It's really hard to even justify it as a sequel. It really just does feel like kind of an expansion of 1. And I don't hate that at all, but like I can't say that I'm as fond of 4 as I am as 1. I really appreciate the characters and story in 4 or in 1 more than I did in 4. And a lot of the battle scenarios just are so memorable to me from 1, and that could be nostalgia at this point, but I still love 4. I still think it's a great game. It just didn't resonate with me as much as 1 did. But I agree with pretty much everything Cam has said, and I still love the series dearly, so I don't know. I could probably talk about it way more, but I'm not going to.
You're good. I love the extra input because I knew it was a series, or I know it is a series you love because we've talked about it before on here. So I like you kind of chiming in, which I was going to say there's one other thing, and I don't know what you just said that made me think of this, but I've been talking recently about like JRPG tropes and how sometimes they get on my nerves. I will say there is a very egregious one in this game that if I don't get an explanation for later in the game, I am going to like just absolutely be salty about, which is the main character's like weather sensing. I'm like, what is going on with this right now? I don't know if you remember that. Exactly.
It's anime, bro.
Yeah. I think I hear you, but there's a difference between that and Cowboy Bebop. You know what I'm saying?
I'm joking.
Like
I'm joking. It's just like, as an anime fan, it's just one of those things you have to accept. Like, yeah, sure, it's anime.
I hear you. I'm just like, oh my god, dude. Like, it's just goofy because it's like, okay, this feels I would maybe grounded is not the right way to put it, right? But it feels like fairly normal war-ish until some stuff like that happens. And I'm just like, come on, man. So yeah, that was my only other thing I wanted to add. Small thing, but I just think it's so goofy, and we've been talking about that on recent episodes. So
Nice. So that's it for Valkyria Chronicles for the day.
I think so.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see. Apparently, if we bring it up again, I'll talk about it again for another hour next episode.
That's fine. That's cool that you're into that. It gets me interested in it. So, yeah, I'll go with my list next. So, I want to start with Concord. We mentioned earlier about Concord, or Henry, I think. So there was like an open beta this past week, and I decided to try it out. And it wasn't a huge download. I think it was like 25 gigs maybe or something. So it was easy to hop in and just play a game. And this game is Concord's like a multiplayer only game, and it's like you have different types of classes, sort of like Overwatch, in that vein. But it's not like Overwatch when I played it. So each character has like different abilities, different character models. Some are like slow, some are fast. Yeah, there's like, I'm not sure how many there are. I think there's probably like 16 in total, and then there's like, it's weird because there's also like 4 support, 4 back-end characters, or like, I don't know how to explain it, but like there's like 4 characters that are not part of the main cast. They're like off to the side. It's weird. So there's almost
I can add to that since I played it. Those 4 characters are basically so the way Concord weirdly works is you get to build, like in Overwatch, I guess is the best way of saying it. You have access to every single character you can choose, like when you select characters. And in Concord, you only have access to like 8 of them or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. But you build the roster of characters that you can select at the beginning or throughout a match. And those extra 4 that you're referring to are like floating characters that the game assigns to you based on what the rest of your team's has comprised of their selectable characters. So if nobody has a healer in their roster and or at all, that the game will put like a healer in your selectable 4 extra characters so that you can select a healer if you don't have one on your team, just in case. So that's what those are for.
Got it. Okay, that's cool. It was interesting. I was like, what the fuck? But so yeah, I played there's like different game modes and stuff. So the first one you get is like just sort of like team deathmatch almost. Then there's all like control points, or like sort of like domination, and then there's kill confirm, where like when you kill somebody, you gotta grab their dog tag to confirm, like get the score. And so I think overall, I think it's fun, but it's also kind of like, I wouldn't pay $40 for this. Like, even if it was free to play, like I wouldn't want to waste my time just playing this. So yeah, I tried each character, and for some of the characters I tried more, some of them I didn't try as much. I think my favorite was the guy with the revolver, and because he could heal himself as well. So like, he was like, I was killing everybody with them. I think he might be the best character in the game. I don't know their names either. It was just like, there's like some alien green guy, and he has like a revolver. He has 2 revolvers. You can switch. I didn't realize that at first, but his main one is like the most powerful one. You could almost kill like the enemy in like 3 to 4 shots. So it's like, as long as you hit your shots, you're gonna be getting a lot of kills. And I found him the most like powerful, where like if I chose him, we were most likely winning the game. But if somebody else in my team chose him, then we're probably gonna lose, because some of the teammates just don't know how to use the characters. So I was mostly the top fragger if I did choose him. I did choose like the Thanos looking dude. I don't know his name. He's like a big dude. He's like a tank, and I think he has like a minigun. I'm trying to remember, because
I think he has a shotgun.
It's a shotgun. Okay. He was pretty good. He's just very slow. So he's like the tank, and you have to be in the front lines. And I think I did try everybody. So there's like one with a grenade launcher, rocket launcher. There's one with like a Uzi. She can run fast. Yeah, it's just, I think the game is fun. I will say I did have a little bit of fun, but then there was times where it's just like it was kind of confusing where you could die really quick, but the other team just doesn't die. Um, so I mean, so far I think I did enjoy it, but it's not something I would look forward to playing again. But it's weird because this game is sort of like it's marketed as like a team based game, sort of like Overwatch. But when I played, nobody was playing like a team. Everybody was doing their own thing.
That sounds like every multiplayer game ever.
It's different. I think Overwatch. I think it's different for when I play Apex. You're communicating with your team most likely, most of the time I think, and then you have like abilities that synergize with each other. Same with Overwatch. I think there's more synergy in there. Like there's like some of the when people are playing, they know what to do. Like here, do this, do this. When this happens, this other character will do this. It was more team focused, I think, when those games. Even though you did say like the randoms are like hit or miss, of course. But with Concord, it's more like a free for all, honestly. So I'm not sure. Like for $40, I wouldn't play it again. But if it was free to play, I would like to try it again. But to like give my extra thoughts, maybe it probably gets better over time. But so far, I'm not bought into it. And I mean, you could tell that with the player base. I mean, like the player base is not that much. The Steam charts are like very low. And then I think that's indicative of like the game. I mean, the game looks amazing. Like you would agree, right? The game, they give the quality, the graphics and stuff like that. Everybody.
Oh yeah. They've put a lot of, especially like those opening cutscenes at the beginning of every like time you start up the game. Like there's a lot of production value put into those for sure.
Yeah, and I mean that is one good quality of this game. The gameplay is just it's weird because man, it's a unique game, but it's not something that gets me addicted. But I did have a good time, but I don't know. It's weird because like this type of game, you're gonna have to play a lot to like maximize your characters and like master each and every one. So it's just like, yeah, it's a tough sell for $40 on people. The only way this game survives was the free to play, but they also said that they don't want to add like a paid battle pass or something because they don't want people grinding for it and stuff like that. But so it's kind of a hard sell for Concord. So that's my thoughts on it. It's kind of tough because it's been a week since it came out, but like I played a couple hours, so far, yeah, not bought into it honestly. Compared to like Helldivers, when I played Helldivers, I was like sold on it, and stuff like that because I saw gameplay of it as well. So, I wanted to ask you, Henry, because you did play it last time. I just want to you want to give us like a quick summary because I think I forgot because like this game is like there's like a lot of characters in this game honestly. So. Can you give me like a quick summary of what your thoughts were on this game?
Yeah, the quick summary is like very similar to you. Like it was okay. Like it was, I can see some people maybe liking it, but I wasn't super into it. And I think that's like the general sentiment I'm seeing from people who are playing the beta is like no one is very passionate about this game, which is still very surprising to me. There's so much marketing behind it. Like it's from a team that should have a good pedigree, and this game just has the stench of death on it.
Oh, right.
It really seems like this game is walking out to just be shot in the head as soon as it releases, and there's just nothing they can do to reverse course on it at this point. I would even think, like, even if they made it free to play, like, this game just has such a bad stench on it that nobody really wants to touch it at this point. It is a walking dumpster fire. I think it's going to sell really poorly. I think you even mentioned like there's not a big player base there. From what I read, this is one of the lowest Steam wish listed games on the platform, which is insane. Like that's crazy to even think about. Again, you know, maybe that's a little bit skewed because it's probably going to be a majority PlayStation audience that picks this game up. But like obviously Helldivers 2, that wasn't a problem. It had a huge PC audience. So this is just not looking very good. I'm really concerned for this game and probably Firewalk Studios too.
Yeah.
In all honesty, we'll see what happens with them too.
Yeah, because man, it's gonna be tough sell for a lot of people because it's a multiplayer only game. So like, you're gonna have to get the audience from like Apex, from Call of Duty and stuff like that. You're gonna have to like sell them on this game, and it just it didn't catch me as much as I thought it would compared to Overwatch. I remember when I played Overwatch in 2016, different time of course, but when I played the beta of Overwatch, like I was so addicted to it. It was like something new. Like it was so fun and stuff like that. And it's just like,
I get that. Yeah.
yeah, it was just like it's such a different experience. It might be because there's a lot of multiplayer games just like Overwatch or like Concord, but it just didn't sell me on it. And yeah, I'm also concerned for the future of the game. I mean, Suicide Squad is still going. I mean, they just had a new season, so I think Concord might be faring better than that. If only this game was more multi-platform, if it was on Xbox and with Game Pass, then yeah, I could see this game having a bigger lifetime than just having it on PlayStation. And I just don't see the reason to have it as a PlayStation exclusive. So
Because Sony bought the team that made it.
yeah,
That's it.
you're right. But like in instances like this, like it would just make more sense just put on Xbox, probably get a Game Pass bag just in case and stuff like that. But you know, it's different. So it's different how companies operate. So Concord, if you didn't try out the beta, unfortunately you're gonna have no chance unless you want to fork over $40. But you can look at gameplay and see how it is. It's not as fast paced as Overwatch, which is cool. But there is a lot of abilities in this game you have to memorize, and some are like bullshit and stuff like that, which of course with these types of games. But so far I gave the Concord beta 5 out of 10. So I'll say it's below average, but
Ouch.
I did have a fun time even though it was very brief. So yeah, that's it for Concord. So right now I'm on my Kingdom Hearts run now. So right now I think I'm invested into the series now after finishing the first game. So
Yes.
yeah, so I was surprised at how quick I finished Kingdom Hearts 1. I think it must have been like how much of I was enjoying it. So like I just finished it like must have been like a week ago or something. So the Kingdom Hearts, you know, it's a Disney game. Well, not a Disney game, but it's like there's Disney elements into it where you go into these Disney worlds and stuff and you have to solve their problems and stuff like that. And then you have like Sora, Donald, and Goofy. And then there's like a main plot or storyline. And when in Kingdom Hearts 1 there are main plot storyline details, but it's very brief. Like there's not that many. So it's kind of like near the end of the game you get a lot of it. So when I finished the game, you learn that there's like different worlds, darkness and light and stuff like that. And like
Classic.
yeah, so it's like I'm interested now. I'm interested to see like what's going on because I don't think I've got spoiled, but I do know like some of the characters in the future, like Roxas I think, or even Aqua.
You even if you know you don't know,
Yeah.
it's okay. You haven't been spoiled.
Yeah, it's just like who are these characters? Like where did they come from? That's why I'm like interested in it. And same with like Riku. What's gonna happen to Riku and stuff like that. But so far the Kingdom Hearts 1 was like a fun adventure. Like it's very charming and stuff. But it's just the beginning where it's just like nothing major is happening, which is what I get the vibe from because like there wasn't a lot of like tension, I guess. There's like I guess near the end there's like a lot of the man. Can we talk about that boss fight at the end? Like it just kept going
Yes.
on and on. It reminded me of Rebirth. Like oh my god. It's just like so how many there was like 8 phases, I think. It was just like it was tough.
There's at least 3 or 4. Yeah.
It was tough because I didn't want to die or reset, because if I had to reset I'd start all over. So like I tried to finish it in one sitting. It was very tough. Because then man, that boss fight where you're flying in the air, man, that was tough. Like geez, man, I was like, oh my god, I had to like maximize my items and stuff, make sure not to use all of them. And then you had to fight Ansem on Destiny Islands like twice. It's just like damn, it was tough. But then when you get to the end, like you get Donald and Goofy, they help you and stuff like that. So it was cool. And then all that stuff happens at the end. And then now they're going on and trying to find Mickey and Riku. So it's interesting. It's funny how to see Mickey just like he's like an OP, he's a master or something, His Majesty or whatever. And then he has like a keyblade and stuff like that. So it's funny. So yeah, I'm done with Kingdom Hearts 1. Very enjoyable game. I would recommend it to anybody who's into like these types of games, like Final Fantasy and stuff, like, because I did enjoy it. So, and it wasn't confusing. Like there was some stuff I was like questioning, but it wasn't that hard to follow. but I'm guessing later on the games do get confusing to.
The first one's the most straightforward.
The first one's I was gonna say the first one's like relatively grounded, I think.
Yeah.
As far as that series can go.
2 is definitely where it starts getting a little wonky.
That's what I realized because I just looking at the characters and so like, damn, what the hell? But so I'm following the play order, so you have to play them when they come out. So the next one I'm playing is Chain of Memories, which makes sense because it just happens right after the first game. Which is funny because this is a Game Boy Advance game originally. So like, if you didn't have a Game Boy, you didn't know what to play next. So, but they did come out with the PS2 version, which I do have, and that's the one that I first played. Like that was like my first Kingdom Hearts game, Chain of Memories on the PS2. So I do remember some parts of this game. Like, oh, I remember this. I remember why I didn't like it because the card system is kind of confusing. And I didn't know how to play it back then. So with this, like, you learn everything. Like, you can't use your Keyblade. You have to use the cards and stuff. And Donald and Goofy are just cards as well. So it's like this whole thing. You're like going inside this Oblivion Castle, I believe. So like nobody remembers you, and you're losing your memories over time, I guess. So you have to go up these stairs, like this white hallway and stuff. And so yeah, the battle system is not as bad as I thought it would. I looked up a guide of how to play it, and I had an issue where some of the bosses were like, I was like fucked up because I would card break and stuff like that, and so like I would have to reload it, but I would only get one card and it would be like a low value, so like I would do like no damage and stuff like that. So there's like the only way to beat the boss is just to restart it. So like I'm learning as time goes by and stuff like that. I mean, the battle system is cool. It's a little annoying with random encounters because like, yeah, there's like this whole animation and you have to go into battle and stuff like that. And then when the battle finishes, it counts the XP and all that. So it is a little like time consuming for the battles, but I do enjoy it. It's like so far, like, yeah, I'm itching to go back into and learn more about the story. Yeah, my favorite parts are like when they get into like the story bits and stuff like that, where I'm trying to learn more about, like, I just met this guy named Axel or whatever. He has like red hair.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the hell is this guy? But he has.
I think you'll really like Axel. I think you'll end up liking him.
Yeah, he looks cool, and he has like a black robe or something. So I'm guessing he's something more important. So I mean, I have seen him on the covers and stuff like that, but I just didn't know who he is or what his name was. So yeah, I'm learning more and more, which is what I'm like looking forward to. Like in Kingdom Hearts, I'm trying to learn more of the story and like what's going on. Like, why is there like darkness and light? What are the Keyblades and stuff like that? So yeah, that was like the whole thing with these two games that I've been playing. So I'm excited to finish this. I think I might be almost done, but when I looked online, they said this game takes 25 hours to complete, just the main story, and I'm not sure if that's right. Because
it's around that.
Sounds
Yeah, it's like
about
20,
right, yeah.
20.5.
really, because I think I'm like 6 hours into Chain of Memories, and I think I'm in the last two worlds. So like, you could choose which world to go to. So right now I'm in Alice in Wonderland, and then the next one I'm gonna have to go to is the Pinocchio one, which is Monstro. So I don't know if there's more after that. So I'll have to see once I play more. So yeah, that was like a long rant, like a long tangent, but yeah, so far I'm enjoying Kingdom Hearts. Like, yeah, and now I'm a fan now, and I don't know what's gonna happen when I finish all the games, and I'm gonna have to wait for Kingdom Hearts 4. But hopefully Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out when I finish all these series of games. So that's it for Kingdom Hearts.
I'm curious. Nice. Cam, if you have something to say, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm curious specifically what you think of Donald. Do you like Donald very much or no in Kingdom Hearts 1?
He's like I mean, I like both of them, Donald and Goofy, but like Donald, he's like the comedic relief, I think, where like he's always like the budding joke or something. But in combat though, man, they die a lot. Like I'm always have to heal him.
Yeah.
They just keep dying. But I like his magic though. I mean, he's cool. I like his voice as well.
Okay.
It's kind of funny when he's in battle and stuff like that. But yeah,
I just know when I was a kid,
mm-hmm.
it was he would he was basically the healer, right?
Yeah, he's a healer.
And so like he would always die, and I hated him because of it. It was very frustrating. But
yeah, I don't rely on him for heals because like, because you never know where you're gonna die. Because there's times where I just died instantly because there's an enemy that took like half my health. So like, I'm always making sure that I have enough HP. Like, I'm making sure I'm not below like the, that sound it makes when you're like low HP, like that beeping sound. So like I'm always healing myself, and sometimes when I heal myself,
So
Donald
annoying.
heals me as well. So I'm like full HP, but I don't mind it because like I have a lot of items, or I had a lot of items in Kingdom Hearts 1, so I didn't mind using like ethers or elixirs and stuff like that.
yeah, it's really cool to hear you say that this game is still good, like modern in the modern age. It's always interesting to me to see which ones stand the test of time, and it doesn't surprise me. Kingdom Hearts is kind of it's unique in terms of its concept. It's unique in terms of I think even its combat system.
Yeah.
It's different. So it isn't something that necessarily time is going to replace or modernize it in a way that would make it feel outdated. So I'm glad to hear that is the case. And you definitely, it's fun hearing you talk about it because it almost makes me go back into like when I was like freaking 6 years old and playing it for the first time. And like, like you're like, oh, what happens to Riku? And like that was me for like 4 years waiting for Kingdom Hearts 2 to come out. Like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
like
man.
what is happening to Riku? This is crazy. Like Mickey Mouse is here now. That's
Yeah,
insane.
I
like
saw
that's,
Mickey. I was like,
you
I was
know.
hyped. I'm like, yo, it's Mickey Mouse, bro. He has a keyblade. Like, yo, he look cool. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's a huge nostalgia trip for me, so it's cool to hear. But Cam, I'm sorry I interrupted you earlier. Go for it, bro.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna ask, Alexis, did you do some of the side content,
I'm trying to
or did you just pretty much like story stuff, and that was it?
think because I didn't do the Olympus one, like the Olympus trials, because they were
Gotcha.
time consuming at that point, and I just wanted the story, honestly. Like I found the story really interesting, so.
Yeah.
And then the other one was I didn't do the world of Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Is it worth it to go back and do that, or
I would
mean,
recommend
yeah?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get obviously a biased answer from me and maybe Henry. I don't know. Maybe Henry you can be unbiased. I can't. Not with this games. But no, I was gonna say, Alexis. Like, it was funny because. And the reason I asked mostly is because something you said that caught my attention was that the final fight, you were worried about dying because if you do the side content, especially in the first game, I think that final boss is you just steamroll the hell out of him.
Oh, okay.
Because like you get to the end and you're just like super strong, with the side content. So I thought it's kind of the telltale sign, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like to answer your question, as far as like, is the side content worth it? I would say yes. I think to Henry's point, especially 100 Acre Wood, which is Winnie the Pooh's world, like I do think you get like legitimate, like not just, hey, I get some items out of this. Like I think it's actually like a pretty cool, like little tack on add on to the game, to actually
I would
do
agree
that
with
world.
that. Yeah.
Now, like, as far as something like, do you need to go do every Trinity mark on the ground? I mean,
No way.
if you're going for completionist, sure.
Like
duh.
the Dalmatians.
But, like, if not, then no. I don't think you're just, and Dalmatians. Like, you're going to get stuff out of it, tangible benefits, but it's like, if you're not trying to, like, 100% everything, then no, it doesn't really matter. But,
I think. Sorry,
I
think you can't get the true ending unless you get all 101 Dalmatians. Just FYI.
That is. Yeah, that is true. And the Trinities, I believe, is required for the true ending, if I'm not mistaken. But
I just YouTubed that nonsense.
Yeah, I probably should do
yeah,
that.
I mean, I will say, like, we talked about this last episode, is like, I told you, or I was talking to you, Alexis, about there's two things in these games that make what I would call cleanup, which is like, 100%ing stuff. There's two things in this series that make cleanup really easy. The first is that every single game in the series gives you movement abilities the more you progress through the game. So, like, by the time you get to the end of the game in 2, as Henry can attest, you can literally like zoom through the world in like 1 minute because you can like just move super fast
Yeah.
at the end of the game. I don't think that's really a spoiler, but
Nah.
the other thing that they do is that makes it a lot easier is, and I think it gets better as the series goes on, is they give you a lot of like save points to spawn at. So like you can spawn, or I say spawn, you can like pop in pretty much like anywhere in the world as the games go on. So like it makes cleanup super quick. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the side content, I think this is one of the series that, you know, obviously I love and I've talked a lot about, but I do think it's one of the better series as far as games go for side content. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do, and it's kind of up to you as to like how much of that you want to do, which is really nice because you can kind of pick and choose. But I think if you do everything, you'll be satisfied with what you get. I'll put it that way. And Alexis, one thing I highly recommend is there's secret bosses
Yeah,
in
true.
pretty much every game in the series. And I don't know if you ran into those, but if you didn't, I highly recommend those because they're just fun fights. So
Yeah, I'll probably go back to Kingdom Hearts 1 because I have a save right before the final boss. So I could probably just take the gummy ship, go back to Traverse Town and do the Winnie the Pooh. And I don't know what other side content is there. I know there's there might be a secret boss at the Coliseum, I think.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know what
There's
there's
else.
a lot of
few.
secret bosses in the first game. Yeah, there is one at the Coliseum though. You're right about that.
I don't know how many are there, so I can like Google it and YouTube it, and maybe some other time I could try it out.
Geez, maybe 6.
Six,
I don't know. It depends what your definition of secret is, I guess.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I fought any secret bosses. I don't think. I'm trying to.
I know there's at least
yeah, you have to
3.
like seek them out.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Henry, I'm also counting the Coliseum fights that don't show up.
Yeah,
at
you
first,
have
so
to
you do
in
everything
order to
else.
get 6. You definitely have to get add those.
Yep.
But those I think are the coolest ones, to be quite honest. So
Yeah, I know.
I recommend those.
I know there's Sephiroth in the second game. I don't know if he's in the first game.
He's also in
He
the
is.
first game.
Oh,
yeah.
dang. Okay, you fight him as well in the first one.
I actually might prefer the fight in the first game.
Oh,
They're close. They're
wow.
both good, but
I'll do that then.
yeah,
Yeah.
I might actually like that one more.
Yeah.
They're super hard boss fights.
Well, I don't mind that. I mean, I just gotta level up and stuff like that. And I like the combat too. Is like it evolves over time the more you play, which I like because like in the beginning it's just basic, but then you get learning more and stuff like that. I like the jump ability as well because I remember like you had a little jump and then later on you get like a huge jump, which
Yep.
just makes it way better, honestly. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only other thing I would add on to mention about really specifically, I think the first game more than Chain of Memories. I love Chain of Memories, and like honestly, I understand why people don't, but I love Chain of Memories. But the first game, the only other thing I was gonna mention is like, and it's kind of a shout out to the game, is like you can, I don't know if you noticed this, Alexis, you actually get experience points in the Coliseum tournaments, and a lot of like the games that I had played when I was younger, when you did side content like that, like I didn't level up from it, so I thought that was really cool in Kingdom Hearts that
Oh, nice.
I could do the Coliseum tournaments and like be leveling up and like getting better, but also, you know, clearing this like content as well. So I thought that was a really cool thing too, because I was gonna say if you go back and, you know, need to grind a little bit, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and just do, you know what I mean, do the tournaments, and that way you don't have to just run around just killing random enemies. So yeah, just kind of a small thing.
Yeah, I'll do that. Somebody recommended that I go to Traverse Town and just kill the enemies there with the EXP ring or something. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll try
It's
that.
like the maximum efficiency, but not the most fun.
Yeah.
That's how I'd put it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look up where the secret bosses are because I wouldn't mind that. I mean, it does sound fun. I'm interested to see who the bosses are, unless they're just like Kingdom Hearts originals, like heartless enemies or something. So yeah, interested. So I might just go in there like the next couple of days. I just go back and just try to do that stuff and just for fun and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it for Kingdom Hearts. I will say the music, man, the music is so good. Like I mean, I kind of expected from like Square Enix, but man,
Mhm.
like Traverse Town, the battle theme, and then it's like different battle themes in each world. It's just like, damn, that's so good. So, that's all I wanted to say with this, and simple and clean as well at the end and the ending, just amazing, man.
Nice. Yeah.
It's fucking good. God damn.
Classic.
Um, so yeah, that's it for Kingdom Hearts for me. So let me pass it off to Henry. I like these games right here that you listed, especially the Dark Pictures. But you can go and choose whichever you want to talk about first.
Yeah, I'll start with Dark Pictures. So
Yeah.
I played Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes. So I think a lot of discussions around these kind of, or in games, in a lot of games in general, help with a little bit of backstory. So I think this backstory is this is a supermassive games. So they are the people who kind of got their start doing Until Dawn, the game that we've most recently talked about just having a remake that doesn't make any sense. And they had a huge success with that. And after that, a lot of people kind of looked at them as the horror narrative game people. They were kind of looking forward to whatever they were doing next. And Bandai Namco struck a deal with them and said, we will publish the next game that you want to do, and I guess the next quote-unquote game you want to do is 5 separate games. So they made a horror pictures or a dark pictures anthology, which means they have several different stories that they aren't related. It's kind of like Crypt Keeper-esque, it's one individual standalone story, but they're all kind of in the same package. So this one, I have played all but one of them. This is the third of the 4, and I think the last one is The Devil Inside Me or something like that, and I have not played that one, but I've played the rest of them, and I don't think any of these games did very well. Until Dawn did very well, but it sold well, it was critically received very well. Every single Dark Pictures Anthology game has been 70s-ish. I don't even think any of them have broken out of the 70s range into the 80s. And I don't think anybody played them either. I don't know very many people who played these games at all. They then went on to make recently The Quarry, which I also don't think did very well. I know it didn't do very well critically, but it was kind of a more so return to Until Dawn. Kind of being a more long form. These Dark Pictures Anthology games are a little bit shorter. And I have ultimately liked the vast majority of their games. I still think that Until Dawn is the best one they've made, though. House of Ashes, I still enjoyed my time with, though. And I think that narrative choice-based games are kind of a dragon I've been chasing for years. I think the best decision narrative-based game that I've ever played is not Until Dawn, excuse me. The Walking Dead by Telltale Games. It is kind of the series that introduced me to how narrative choice-based games could be done, and even though that there's obviously your choices really don't matter in that game, it was the feeling that they did that really made that game special for me. And I've wanted to find that, and this is really the closest that you can get to that, really. I feel like modern gaming, but it is a choice-based horror game. So you go through a game, and really what they try to emphasize is you get to basically choose who lives and dies. Your decisions determine what people get out alive at the end of this horror nightmare. So in this one, it focuses on a group of Iraqi soldiers that go into Iraq, and they fall into a crypt, and they fall in alongside some Iraqi soldiers, and they have to fight a paranormal threat, a vampire threat. And I honestly was really intrigued by the setting and the time period of this game. The Iraqi war is just not one that I really see tackled very much, and the fact that the concept of these are soldiers, so normally you're playing a bunch of teenagers and who are obviously very incapable of facing the threat that's against them. But in this one, you're very capable. You're trained armed soldiers. So it's interesting to have a perspective of all these people who are very capable of fighting this threat but still can't. And, they have to work together. These two enemy factions have to put aside their differences to fight this paranormal threat. I really enjoyed the concept of that. It's a 6-ish hour game. All of these kind of anthology pictures games are about 6-ish hours. And the problem that I have with every single one of these games that Supermassive has ever made is it takes at least 2 to 3 hours for the game to get going. For you to really have to feel like you're making decisions, or to even really have the story develop in any meaningful way where like a threat has been introduced, there's something interesting happening. Like there's just a lot of build up so that you can then have this last half of the game be this action choice-based roller coaster. And I ultimately, once I got past that 2 to 3 hour hump, really enjoyed my time with it, and it was really just a fun action romp that also I was making choices that could affect the story, which I think is really cool, and I want to get into that in just a second. But one of the main things that I think I don't love is the decisions in this game. It determines if someone lives or dies, right? But it doesn't determine who lives or dies, which I think is a far more compelling choice in that way. So, like, one thing that I love to go back to in, like, the Walking Dead series that I was just referring to, Season 1 of The Walking Dead by Telltale, is, like, in one of the chapters of that game, you're given, like, 5 pieces of food. And you have to determine, you have a group of 8 people, and you have to determine who you give food to and who you don't. And you have to, depending on who you give food to, you obviously, people are happy with you or unhappy with you. And, like giving it to a guy's kid instead of him is maybe a better choice, but you didn't give it to that other person's kid because you ran out. So like that other whole group is mad at you. I find those decisions the most interesting and the most impactful, and they make me think when it's like, well, shoot this thing or run away, and if you shoot it then you die, and you run away then you don't. That's not very compelling, because I really don't, there's not a lot of ambiguity there, and there's no way for me to know that shooting it is going to kill me or not. So like it's interesting to see how this game tackles decision-based like rewards. So like I lost a character, and that's something that's a huge deal in this game, is like if a character dies, they're just gone. Like you kind of swap perspectives throughout the course of the game, and if a character dies, then you just never go back to that character. And that means anything that you would have found as that character, anything that would have developed with that character, is completely removed from the game. And one of the characters that's a huge part of the game died very early on for me, because I made a choice that I thought was right, and it ended up being wrong. And that was very, very frustrating to me. But, like, it wasn't worth reloading a save, and I honestly like to go by the mentality of, like, I made that decision, and therefore, like, this is my story. Like, that's how my story is going to play out. And then, like, another character died, but it was because, like, I think we, as gamers, know, like, you always try to go down the path that you think looks like the one that is, like, the one that you're not supposed to be going down, because, like, that one's the one that is, like, gonna have side content or extra content or whatever the case is. Like, I went down a path that I thought looked like the wrong path, and it ended up being the right path, and therefore I missed an item that saved a character's life later down the line. And if you don't have that item, then that character has to die. So, like, I felt like that punishment was a little bit harsh, which is kind of where, like, I ultimately enjoyed this game, but it made me think, like, when is the like how good is a punishment for like for choices that you make in these games? When is it okay to punish a person for making a choice that maybe was wrong? What should the repercussions of that be? And I don't know if they found the right balance with this game, but I don't know if there ever is a right balance to make you feel like you're having an impactful impact, I guess is to not have the best words there, but impactful impact on the story while giving the player, control. But I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that, but that's a nice incoherent ramble of how I was thinking, I guess.
Yeah, because when I was playing these games, right, I think I played a couple of them. I just can't remember the names of them. But like it's funny because like when the character dies, it's just like you gotta live with that. That's your story, and you do wonder like what would happen like if this person was alive and shit like that. But like I think it's normal to have these characters die because like I think these games are just like somebody's gonna die eventually. Like the only way you're gonna have like a perfect playthrough is if you follow like a guide. But then that would be boring though because this is basically like a movie basically, and you're the director and stuff like that. So, but there are some choices where it's just like you think it's the right choice, but then they die. So it's just like, what the fuck? But like, that's the gamble you take with these types of games. Like even with like Until Dawn, there's like certain points where like, it would be wise to go to that decision, but then like, it wouldn't be smart or something like that. You gotta choose like the safe route or something. So you gotta choose one whether it's safe or risky. And when the character dies, I don't really mind it, especially if that character is annoying. I know there's like some annoying characters in this one because this is like the military one, right? Or like they're like in the desert.
Yeah, this is the military one. Yeah.
Okay, so I know there's like that one annoying girl, and then that one guy he cheated her. She cheated him with on. It's like this whole thing. So like. It is funny with like some of the characters you could choose their fate and stuff because you don't like how they're acting and stuff like that, which is funny.
Yeah, Ashley Tisdale, the adulterer.
Yeah, the blonde girl. Yes, that just reminded me of that because like she's from like Disney and stuff like that. There's also like some recurring characters from like Until Dawn. So like, it kind of like feels like a little like. Doesn't feel as I don't feel as immersed into it, but
really,
yeah,
okay.
There's like this one or two characters that are in Until Dawn as well. It's just like it feels weird seeing them in this. I forgot their names, but I think it was
I don't remember anybody being repeated in these.
Really?
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
I think it's just one or two that just threw me off.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, because I was going to jump in and say, Henry, it's so funny hearing you talk about this because, like, it is... So I have actually been playing a lot of these games with my brother because a lot of these games are co-op, and co-op is kind of a loose way of putting it. It's really just alternating, I think is probably more accurate. But I've played pretty much all of these with him, and so I think that adds a little extra something for me because it's like, okay, by myself, I don't know, I think I still would enjoy them, but like I think that helps a little bit when some of the goofy moments, I don't know, goofy, whatever you want to call it, happen. But it's so funny too because we've played the exact same ones as you. So we haven't played The Devil in Me yet, and it's the only one I haven't played. But yeah, I actually really liked this one, Henry, and I actually thought this is the best one in the series, probably right up there with Until Dawn for me. Honestly, I might actually prefer it a little more than Until Dawn, to tell you the truth. But that was just kind of my personal opinion on like the series at large. But I do hear you though. Like some of the, it's funny. It's like they made a choice between we could make structured decision making where you can like, I'd say tell what's going to happen, even if it was like a little bit more cohesive, right? They could have done that, but instead they opted to do like, well, we'll make things random with certain decisions to make things like more spicy.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of what it feels like they did. It's like you say, and I think of an example in Until Dawn that got one of my characters killed years ago when I played that game. which is when one of your characters is running away from something, you have to choose which direction they go, and there is no sign that would ever tell you which direction would be the right way to go. And I was like, okay, I'll go left, or whatever it was. And it's like, oh, nope, you died. And it's like, okay, well, like, how would I have known that, though? Like, until I, like, replay the game, right, I would have never known that. So, yeah, I hear your complaint. I actually, once the podcast is over, because obviously this game's like, I don't know, recent's maybe not the best way to put it, but it's fairly recent, so I don't know if we should just like say the character right now. But after the podcast ends, I'm kind of curious if you can tell me who the character was, because I actually would love to know. But that aside, I pretty much echo your sentiments almost exactly on this series at large too. I think the one thing for me that boosted up a ton, it's funny, it's like whether or not they were amazing or perfect or, you know, what have you, something that does boost it up is they are filling like a gap that I don't think a lot of games do, which is like those cinematic games. Yeah, there's plenty, right? Like God of War, Hellblade, so on and so forth. But like there's not a ton of those that are horror games. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of horror games are very like survival horror-y, the feel to them. Like, you know, I think of Resident Evil. But there's not a lot of, I feel like there's not a lot of like movie horror games, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's honestly why, or a big reason why I really like these games. But yeah, I haven't played Devil in Me either, but I really liked House of Ashes, honestly. And I think, the only last thing I was going to say is, as far as the, like, if you want to call them spin-offs, you want to call them Dark Pictures games, whatever you want to call them, the not Until Dawn games that they made,
and I would actually
I
agree with that. Out of the ones that
sure.
I've played, I would actually say I liked this one the most as well. It felt like almost like an action-adventure kind of thing. Like, I was on the edge of my seat most of it. I wanted to follow up also with the reviews I mentioned earlier. I pulled that up while you guys were chatting, and House of Ashes is actually the highest reviewed of these Dark Pictures Anthology games by 1 point, and it is a 72 on Metacritic. Yeah, I know. Every other one is either a 69 or a 71. So it is. These were not very well received. Which, you know, it is odd, right? Considering Until Dawn was so well received. I mean, I really don't see a huge difference between like Until Dawn and these, in general at least. Obviously, you know, the story and characters can be worse, and maybe that's why people didn't like it as much. But in terms of its gameplay and everything else, like, it really is pretty similar. So it's odd that these games just got panned so vehemently. And I think it's okay to mention who died in my game, because everybody can die in anybody's game.
That is a really great point too, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, it was Ashley Tisdale's husband character. It was the perfect soldier man. I think he's the first character that can die, and he died.
Wow.
I tried to save my wife, and apparently I should not have done that. So that was incorrect. Yeah, and the game, I think, was trying to tell me, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't save your wife, and it gave me like multiple chances to like not save my wife, and I was like, no, I want to save my wife. Like, that seems like the correct decision. And they're like, no, you died. And I was just like, okay, cool. And that was so early on in the game. Like, and I was like, there was so much left to resolve with this character, and I just never got to see it, which sucks. But, like, you know, that is what I think makes these games interesting, right? It's like you're on the edge of your seat being like, I have to make the right decision, because if I don't, there's a significant penalty for that. And I do think the game tries to like give you leeway a good bit of the time. Like, it's not that punishing, but like when it punishes you, it really messes up your game. So, like, you know, at the end of the day though, I still enjoyed my time with it, and even though that character was gone, I still had a great time. But like, it did make me think, like, when is the right time, and how do you communicate these things to the player like, because you still do need to punish players for making bad decisions. It's just because otherwise it's like playing a Telltale game, and it's just a movie. Like, nothing you do really matters. They just try to make it sound like it does. Kenny will remember that, or whatever the case is. So anyway, it's still interesting, and I enjoyed my time with it. And if you're looking for a game, out of all the Dark Pictures Anthology games, even though it's different, I still really enjoyed my time with it and probably would say it's my favorite one. Anyway, anything else you guys want to add to that, or can I move on to my next game?
Yeah. So, what do you think about the name of this? Because I don't know if they're gonna keep making games in the Dark Pictures Anthology, but I think the reason for the low sales is just the naming of like this series, the Dark Pictures Anthology. And that's I think I realized that, like, Until Dawn and The Quarry, they sell more because I think the names are just like more interesting and like they're easier to get into compared to this. So yeah, that's all I just wanted to say about it.
I mean, I think that there's an interesting conversation around that. I do think names actually matter in the amount of sales that a game makes, for sure. Like a stupid name or a forgettable name will probably hurt your sales. Oh my gosh, what was that game that was a PlayStation Plus game the other month? I can't even remember. Something Avium. I can't remember.
Immortals
but that's
of Avium.
like Immortals of Avium.
Yeah.
Games like that, like, they have generic names that don't tell you anything about the game at all. Like, there's a lot of games like that now, and I think that those definitely hurt. I don't know if this particularly hurt them. I do know that I don't think they're making any more of these. I think Bandai Namco, I think the contract's up. So they're not going to make any more of them. But I think they're very happy about that because I think Bandai Namco really got messed up on that contract. But yeah, it's possible though. It's possible. Everything matters in marketing, so it's possible.
Yeah, that's all I have to say on this. But if you do want to play like a movie game like this, do play these games. Like, even though it's like a 70, they're still like a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah. I got it. It was for free as a PlayStation Extra, so I didn't even have to pay for it. So
Nice.
if that's something you're interested in and you have extra, I'd say definitely check it out.
Oh yeah.
But moving on to my next and last game. I've been playing a couple of other things. Like, I played weirdly Call of Duty Black Ops campaign, the first one, just because like I heard it was the best Call of Duty campaign or one of them, and I just kind of knocked that out in 2 afternoons or whatever. And I do think it's a great campaign, but nothing more than just to mention that it's a really good Call of Duty campaign if you're interested in that. But anyway, Dredge is the last game that I have that I played and beat. It was also an addition to the PlayStation Extra catalog very recently. So I decided to give it a shot because I've heard a lot about Dredge. Dredge is one of those indie games that kind of snuck up out of nowhere, and a lot of people talked about it, and it kind of got spread around, and I never really wanted to try it because I think it was, and this is kind of something I want to get into, is I think it was pitched to me horrifically, at least from my perspective, because every time I ever heard this game pitched, it is a Lovecraftian horror fishing game. And as soon as I heard fishing game, I was like, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with this. This sounds boring. Like, I don't know why anybody cares about this. Like, and I get the pitch because it's like, obviously a fishing game combined with Lovecraftian horror is an odd combination. It is not something you typically see. And so I get it. Like that, it's supposed to like make you go like, oh, well, that's interesting and unique. I should try that out. But because I just have no interest in fishing games, and I'm really not that big into Lovecraftian horror either, there was like no way that was going to sink me on or sell me on the game at all. So I didn't ever play it. But like when I had access to it for free, I was like, okay, enough people kind of were talking about this game. I'll give it a shot. And I will say, I really enjoyed my time with Dredge. Like, for somebody who went into it pretty just like kind of mildly curious, I got really hooked, especially in the opening hours of this game. I think comparing it to, or the pitch of Lovecraftian horror fishing game is just not the way to sell me on this. I think the way that I would have tried to sell myself on this is like, this is a game that's kind of like SteamWorld Dig, or like a SteamWorld Dig kind of game. And that is going to sound really weird even to people who've probably played the game. That's a weird comparison to make. But I think the best part of this game is its early loop of going out fishing and coming back and buying upgrades in a very incremental way that feels significant. It feels like you're always progressing, and everything you do kind of is feeding back into this loop of upgrading and progressing and becoming better and stronger and all that other stuff at what you're doing and being more efficient at progressing further in the game. And I love the SteamWorld Dig games, and I love games like that. Like, SteamWorld Dig is like not the first game to kind of do something like that. Like, there were Flash games that I played in the computer lab at school that kind of did the exact same thing. And like, I think that Dredge really hits that loop in a very satisfying and addicting way. So this game is, you are a fisherman, you go to this lake essentially, or this part of the ocean, something like that, an open area of water, and you have to upgrade your boat and by catching fish in the wild and bringing them back and selling them. And then you can upgrade your fishing rods and your motor and how much fish you can carry and all that other stuff. And you start off with a rinky-dinky boat that is like, can't really do much of anything, and then by the time you're done with the game, it's like you're a completely different entity in how much you can do and how much more powerful you feel in terms of the world of fishing. The Lovecraftian element comes in with the day and night cycle. At night, you are, you basically become mad the longer you're exposed to the darkness. And the longer you're exposed to the darkness, the more crazy stuff starts happening that kind of Fs you over. It does damage to your boat that you have to repair, which is a lot of money and time off you. And you can eventually die if you take enough damage. And sometimes your fish will be polluted, so you won't be able to sell them for as much money. And it's really just overall not very beneficial for you to stay out at night. But and some bad stuff will happen, but you eventually later in the game have to progress past that and like kind of conquer your fear of this overwhelming nighttime. And it's a cool progression, and the objectives that the game gives you as well along the story are all easily completable. Like the day-night cycle is very quick. Like a single day is like almost 5 minutes or something like that. It's very, very rapid. So like everything in the game is designed for you to be able to, complete within a very short amount of time. So I was always like, okay, I'll just catch one more fish. Okay, I'll just do one more day. Well, I'll just buy one more upgrade. Well, I'll just do one more objective. And I ended up like pretty much like non-stop playing this game until I finished it. It's not that long. I think I beat it in like 6 or 7 hours. I think most people beat it in like 7 or 8, something like that. And like I was very surprised about how much it hooked me after I got past that. That being said, game's not perfect. It is short, but it is also repetitive. Fishing minigames, even though they try their best to vary the objectives you're doing and how you catch fish, it does get repetitive towards the end. I think the game is also kind of at odds of whether it wants to be very fun or more so relaxing. Maybe not fun, but like relaxing, or if it wants to be very punishing and very difficult. Some of its systems are kind of at odds with that in a way. And I think towards the end of the game, at least the last objective that I had, it was very difficult for me, at least, and very frustrating. And while I think you can still have an easy time with it, like I think, depending on how many upgrades you have and stuff like that, like it still seemed like, again, like the game was kind of at odds with itself of whether it wanted to be relaxing or difficult. But pretty much like I actually really recommend this game. And it's surprising to me that people are just sold me on it so bad for so long. I of course, like, I don't know how you sell a fishing game to really anybody, other than saying it's really not like a fishing game, unless you just really like fishing games. But I think if you really like fishing games, you're probably not gonna like this game.
Yeah, it looks different. It's not a fishing. Yeah, I know what you mean by that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of crossover. So it's just one of those things. But I really enjoyed it. I don't know if either one of you have played it or if you're interested in playing it, but I'm interested to hear either one of those perspectives as well.
Yeah, I haven't played it, so I think this was nominated for like Indie Game of the Year, I think, or something like that. Because I remember a lot of people were loving this game. Just looking at it, it looks interesting because you're controlling a boat and then you're just catching fish with like a net behind it, and like there's like different upgrades and stuff like that. And it looks so weird because you said you would recommend it. I'm not sure if I'm with it. I gotta play it to try it out because I know there's like I think there's DLC.
I totally get it because that's how I felt too.
Yeah, and like there's a Godzilla DLC, right, or something like that.
There's well, no, you're thinking of Dave the Diver actually, which Dave the Diver has Dredge DLC and Godzilla DLC, and also like some weird gacha game like Anime Girl DLC. Like there's a lot of weird DLC for Dave the Diver, which is actually, it's really funny you mentioned that because I'm playing Dave the Diver right now. I'm not very far, but the reason I played Dredge was because there's Dredge DLC in Dave the Diver, and I had access to it. So I was like, I kind of want to understand what's going on in the Dredge DLC, so I'll just go ahead and play it. So it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah,
it looks interesting, but man, like just looking at it, I'm not sure if I would enjoy it. This is like, but it's a unique game though. It's like you're just driving a boat, and then there's like different like various elements that are like attacking you and stuff like that. It's just like, oh, this is cool. But that's all I have to say on this. But I'll keep my eye on this because you said you would recommend it. So
I would, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll keep my eye on this one. This is very interesting. Yeah, just looking at this, it's just that the more I watch it, I think the more I'm kind of interested in this. Like just grabbing the fish and stuff like that, and then you just gotta like put it in your bag. And it's like, what is that when you grab the fish? Is like a skill check system or something? Sort of like Dead by Daylight almost. Like you have to like time it right or something. It's weird because I'm just looking at the gameplay and stuff like that. And yeah, that's all I have to say on this. Looks cool though, but I would have to like mind when I would have to play this because I think you do have to be in a certain mood to play this.
Oh yeah, I mean I think it's a great like palate cleanser game. Very quick, like I got in, beat it within 6 or 7 hours or whatever, and I enjoyed what it was for what it was, and I got out and I got what I needed. So I agree. It's a certain mood kind of game for sure.
Isn't it like $15 or something, or 20?
I think it's 20. I think it's 20 full price.
20 full price. Oh, okay. Maybe on a discount, I'll try and like see. I think there is a trial as well, like a demo. So yeah, I might try it.
I would, if there is a demo, try it out because you'll know if you like it within the loop, like that opening loop. Yeah. And that's when you'll figure out if you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll try it out, and then the next time we do the podcast, I can give you my thoughts on it if there is a demo, because I'm pretty sure there is, because I remember they announced it or something. So yeah.
But that's all from me.
Nice.
No more games.
Nice. Pretty cool. Oh, it's $25 actually on standard edition.
25.
Chapter 1 is free, so I'm add that to the library and check it out. How many chapters are in this game?
I think it's 5. 5 chapters.
Oh, cool. It's like nice, awesome. So get that downloaded and then try it out. Check out the first chapter, see if I like it. So yeah, that's all the impressions we have for today. Pretty cool list of games we got. I mean, everything looked interesting. So as we can wrap up the episode for today. Thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the Plug and Play podcast. My name is Alexis, and be sure to give us a rating on Spotify and Apple if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, guys.
See ya.
Thanks, everyone.